Hello, it's Jack Cotton, luxury real estate expert, author, and agent. And thank you again for purchasing my book, Selling Luxury Homes. You could be one of the people who helped make my book #1 on Amazon. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed it so far. You must have finished by now. But today I want to talk about the third and last of the 3 downloads that come with the book at no charge to you. That's the most challenging one. It's the sales adjustment grid. It's one more objection. Last time we talked about location as an objection. Now there's all kinds of other stuff that are objections. That fill in the blank. That finish work is not as good as mine. That view is not as good as mine. That dock is not as good as mine. Or they don't have a dock. Or that dock is not as deep as mine. Or that the ceilings aren't as high as mine. Whatever the case may be, these are objections you're going to hear in the high end when you're delivering your CMA to a prospective seller. So this spreadsheet is designed to help overcome that objection. It's helping you compare the incomparable. How do we do that? Well, there's a lot of challenges to doing CMAs in the high end because not the properties are unique and different. The market changes all the time. The market might have been different when the comp sold. Maybe better location, worse location, smaller, bigger, different amenities, docks and ski-in and all kinds of stuff like that. So how do we make those adjustments? Well, let's imagine we're going to do a CMA. The first thing I want to stress to you is that unlike an appraiser who uses dollar adjustments, I'm going to teach you to use percentage adjustments. I admire appraisers when I look at an appraisal and I see how they make an adjustment of $97,000 for the view. I don't know where they come up with that $97,000. For me, it's so much easier to come up with a percentage, like the view is 5% better than the subject property, for example. So the other important concept is that when we're doing a CMA in a property, the subject property, we always adjust the comps to be more like the subject. So if the comp is better, we bring it down to the one we're doing the CMA on. Conversely, if the comp is inferior, we adjust it up. We make a positive adjustment. So here's a quick example. Let's say I'm going to do a CMA on this home and I need to come up with a suggested go-to-market price for it. Beautiful place on the ocean. And then here is the best comp, which is right down the street. But really, if you don't really know this house, but I can tell you right now, it's in far, far, far inferior condition. In fact, it was torn down, if you can believe it. Anyway, so basically, we put the sales together. And you can use a Word document, you can use an Excel spreadsheet, you can use yellow line paper if you want, but you just write down some items like the date, the land area, condition, view, and start making adjustments. If it happened a year back and the market's gotten weaker, make a 5% minus adjustment, for example. 2 acres versus 1 acre, that would be a 20% positive adjustment. Understand that with land, just because it's twice the land doesn't make it twice as valuable all the time because the value of land diminishes as the size of the land increases. It's the law of diminishing returns. But anyway, in this case, our total adjustments came to 45%. It's sold for $1 million after adjusting. The adjusted sales price was $1,450,000. So when you do something like this, and a seller says, well, that had more land than mine, or mine has more land than that, whatever the case may be, you can point to your little analysis here and show them how you accounted for that. It eliminates that objection. Now, this is a simplified version for explanation purposes. The download that came with your book is far more intimidating in appearance, but really it's just as simple as the one I just showed you. Again, you write in the white spaces and everything in the blue spaces auto-calculates. And all you do is you just put in the percentages that you believe account for the difference between the comparison and the subject property. It's as simple as that. Some things to keep in mind are, these are your opinion, therefore they cannot be wrong. On the other hand, they do need to be based on something. It's not good just to pluck them out of the air, and more importantly, they have to be supportable and consistent. You can't say that one location is 10% better today and then say it's 10% worse the next day. You've got to be consistent in how you do your adjustments. And you want to do the adjustments as minimally as possible, so the best comps you can get, the better. But that's the trouble in the high end. There aren't always great comps to use. That's why these adjustments are so critical to use. Some other things I want to show you on the spreadsheet that are little bit bonuses for you. That if you're anywhere in this country except for Florida and California, this spreadsheet will automatically calculate the sales price as a percentage of its property tax assessment. It'll still do it in California and Florida, it just won't be as meaningful because the way they do assessing there, it just makes this not as good an exercise. But I love assessment ratios. It's one of my favorite benchmarks that I use when I'm valuing real estate. The other thing it does automatically, so it calculates another metric based upon the average assessment ratio of the 3 comparable sales that occurred in your marketplace. The other thing that it does, it automatically calculates the absorption rate for you. You write down how many sales occurred in the last 12 months and how many are currently for sale, and it auto-calculates an absorption rate for you. So these are metrics, these are data points I like to list separately in my CMA, because when you have all this data laid out there for the seller, together you can arrive at a price using the 7-step process that I outline in the book. So I hope this all makes sense. If it doesn't, shoot me a quick email and I'll try to help you further. And consider going to luxuryrealestateunplugged.com and then signing up. And if you want to take a test drive, email me and I'll give you a link and I'll cover your question live during the next episode on the first Tuesday of each and every month. Until then, happy reading and studying.